I will never forget that night when everything changed. My friends and I decided to go to the forest for the weekend, just to relax, grill some meat, and escape from the hustle and bustle of the city. None of us knew that this forest had long been cursed and inhabited by creatures that only resemble humans. There were 4 of us: me, my best friend Mike, his girlfriend Laura, and my brother Kevin. We arrived late in the evening when the sun was already touching the horizon, painting the sky in warm shades of orange and pink. We set up camp on a small clearing surrounded by dense fir trees. Once the tents were pitched and the fire lit, we started laughing and chatting, unaware that someone was already watching us. Kevin, as usual, began telling scary stories by the fire about an old witch wandering the forest and a cursed hunter who turned into a beast. We laughed, but with every word, I felt an unexplainable unease growing inside me. The first ominous sign appeared at night. Laura heard some rustling and woke us up. Mike, trying to calm her down, went outside with a flashlight. But besides the rustling leaves in the wind and distant owl cries, there was nothing unusual. We decided that Laura was just nervous and went back to our tents. But I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching us from the dark branches. I stayed awake almost until dawn, listening to every sound. The next day, we went to a nearby lake. Laura seemed irritated, and Mike tried to cheer her up by splashing water. Suddenly, Kevin noticed strange tracks on the shore, huge paw prints with long claws, as if something massive had crawled through the wet ground. I froze, staring at the marks, and asked, "Is it a bear?" Kevin shook his head, picking up a tuft of fur from a bush.
Maybe a wolf? Nah, too big.
We decided not to dwell on it and returned to the camp. By evening, fog enveloped the forest with a thick shroud hiding the trees. We sat around the fire discussing plans for the next day when a howl came from the darkness, long and hollow, making the blood freeze in our veins. Mike tried to reassure everyone, saying it was just wolves, but I could see on his face that he was scared. Kevin checked the surroundings again, returning pale.
There's someone here, and it's not an animal.
That night, a scream broke the silence. Laura was gone. Mike rushed to find her, ignoring our calls to stop. Kevin and I decided to split up. I went to the lake, and he headed to the hills. I heard Mike calling Laura, his voice trembling. Suddenly, silence. An unnatural and terrifying silence. I ran toward the sound and froze. Mike's body was torn to pieces, and above him loomed a creature with a wolf's snout and human hands. It turned its head, and in its eyes, I recognized Laura. I screamed as the beast rushed into the forest. I frantically searched for Kevin. I found him on the hillside. He was lying on the ground, bleeding profusely. His shoulder was mangled, but he was alive. I tried to bandage the wound, but he looked at me with wild eyes.
Laura, it's her.
I closed my eyes, expecting the end, but the beast suddenly stopped, sniffing Kevin. It growled but didn't attack, as if sensing kinship. Laura appeared too, and I realized Kevin was infected. At dawn, I was alone. Kevin was gone, and the fog had lifted. I made my way back to the car, but before leaving, I looked back at the forest and saw 2 figures in the distance, a wolf and a human. I knew that Kevin was now one of them. Since then, I've been living in fear. I can feel how my feelings change, how the beast inside me starts to awaken, and the scariest thing, I'm no longer afraid of the forest. I long for it, for the scent of pine and the chill of the night. I am one of them.